Well, hey everyone, my name is Nathan Jones, and if you're new here, welcome. I like to talk about all things movies, specifically Blu-rays, and today we are talking about the last Blu-ray haul of 2020, and it's the last Blu-ray haul of its kind too, because I kind of promised a few months ago, maybe a month ago, that I wanted to start doing Blu-ray hauls to where half of the films that I'm going to be talking about are films that I've seen. Now, for this particular Blu-ray haul, it's because it's the end of the year, it's the last Blu-ray haul I'm doing. I just want to showcase all the things that I picked up in 2020, the last little bit of it. So I haven't seen a lot of these films, mainly because I've been focusing on holiday films or comfort watches, because it's 2020. It's been a crazy year. The holidays bring a lot of joy for me, and last year I was in China, so I wasn't even able to see any of the holiday films that I wanted to watch. So maybe it's making up for lost time, so I haven't really been watching terribly too many new things. Now, going forward with that, this is the Blu-ray haul for November 2020 and in December until Christmas, right? And that's when I'll get some new films. But I wanted to start doing a new leaf for 2021 because I made a promise actually a few weeks ago to somebody, and I wanted to make sure that I can fulfill this promise for 2021. I want to start focusing in on the films that I already own. I have a long watch list and a long queue of films that I have behind me and off on the distance and stuff that I haven't seen before, and I really need to start diving into them. And that's what I'm going to be focusing in on for 2021. I'm going to be buying a lot less, and that's just the reality of it. I'm going to start prioritizing all the films that I already own and kind of just being thankful for the stuff and the journey that I'm going on. And it'll be saving me some money, so that's good too. But before we dive into that, what are your plans for 2021? I kind of want to know. And I'm excited to share with you more prospects of what 2021 is going to bring in a future video coming up very shortly. So let's just dive into the films that I've picked up for November and December of 2020. And I hope you're excited because the first film that I'm going to be talking about is actually a movie that I have seen before in the past, and I actually watched it a few years ago for the first time. And I'm so excited to upgrade this onto 4K. What am I talking about? The first film that I'm talking about is Cinema Paradiso, and I got it in 4K now. And I'm so excited to watch this movie because I'm going to be getting a 4K player for Christmas. I hope that's what I asked the parents to get me. I'm chipping in as well because it's kind of rather expensive. But regardless, I'm excited to watch this in 4K. Now, like I said, I have the original right here from Arrow Academy. And the special edition contents are practically the same. Now, if anyone has seen the 4K version of this, can you tell me down in the comment section down below if there's much difference in the special editions? I haven't really dived into it too much because, like I said, you can hear the shrink wrap that I still have it on it. But yeah, I'm excited to jump into this 4K and really excited to just jump into some 4K classics that I really enjoy. And Cinema Paradiso, like I said, I watched it a few years ago for the first time. And that's a film that I really, really adore as somebody who's a movie fan, right? As a fan of movie magic and a fan of that journey that you get from growing up into film, that's what this film is. And I'm sure most of you have seen this film, know that. And if any of you haven't seen this movie, definitely do yourself a favor and check this one out. If you consider yourself a movie fan, this is one of the best Italian films that I've ever seen. And it's just so fascinating, and it's so heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. It's beautiful. But yeah, Cinema Paradiso, super excited to own it on 4K. So let's actually move on to Scream Factory. So Scream Factory, here's the thing. I got my Scream Factory Shocktober sale way later than everyone else in like December, which is a little bit nuts. But with all the things going on in the world today, I can kind of understand because there's a pandemic, there's shipping, and there's some warehouse stuff, and there's a lot going on, and I blame nobody, by the way. I just thought it was really interesting that like my friends would get parts of their shipments first, a month in advance from me, and maybe a couple weeks ago prior to me getting them, and like they're just all over the place, and I think it's just really crazy. I guess it is maybe depending on when you ordered it, but I feel like we all ordered around the same time. But anyway, I digress. Let's dive into the films that I picked up. None of these films I have seen before. Let's first talk about some more recent films from 1998 and 1999. The films I'm maybe a little bit less excited about than the other films that I'm going to be talking about. So the first one I picked up was John Carpenter's Vampires from 1998. I love John Carpenter, and I've loved everything that I've seen by him so far, or at least enjoyed them. I've heard this one's mixed, but I'm excited nonetheless because I am a big fan of vampires, and I am a big fan of vampire film. And so I'm excited for it, and I may or may not have thought Fright Night when I was picking it up, and I could be dead wrong on that, but we'll see. And then, so the next film that I picked up is a remake from 1959. This one's from 1999 of the Vincent Price, William Castle production. This is House on Haunted Hill. Now, I was just intrigued by that amazing cover, and yeah, I definitely wanted to get the original, but I haven't got that yet, and I'm gonna watch that eventually. But this is the 1999 remake. Jeffrey Rush is in it. I love him, and so I'm just excited for it. And I think I've seen bits and pieces of this movie when I was growing up, but I'm excited nonetheless to dive into that one. Now we're gonna dive into some films from Hammer that I got from Scream Factory, and these are all first-time watches too. The first film that I'm gonna talk about is one with Peter Cushing, and I love that man. The Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas. And I can definitely watch this now because it's December and snowing outside right now as I'm filming this. But I'm really excited about this one, and I love this because look at that reversible cover. It's like a giant size. So like you got the front and back right there with the obviously the movie poster and then background information on it, but with the giant size in the sleeve. It's just extra cool. I love it. So Abominable Snowman of the Himalayas came out in 1957. I'm excited for that one. Also a great year for film. Next, we're moving on to a film from 1966, one with Christopher Lee, so the other half, Peter Cushing and Christopher Lee, Rasputin the Monk. The Mad Monk, Rasputin the Mad Monk. I almost said the title wrong. I'm excited for this one, and I actually read about this in Christopher Lee's biography that he wrote about. He really enjoyed this role, but I've heard a few mixed things about it. And another interesting thing about the sleeve here is just like a still from the film itself. But yeah, I'm excited for this one, and it's definitely one of the better performances from Christopher Lee and Hammer, from what I've been told, and I'm excited for Rasputin the Mad Monk. And then next is a film from 1966, another one, and this is actually one of, like, touted as one of the best Hammer films ever. So I'm excited for this one. This one wasn't even on sale, but I picked it up nonetheless because it's been bugging me for the longest time that I haven't picked it up and I haven't seen it. Talking about Plague of the Zombies. Oh. John Gilling directed this one. I really enjoyed John Gilling's work in Hammer. I believe he did The Pirates of Blood River, and I really love that movie, but I'm really excited to dive into this one, and I've heard nothing but fantastic things about Plague of the Zombies, so I'm excited for that one. And then the last thing that I picked up from Scream Factory is a psychosexual film from 1971, directed by Roy Ward Baker, and I really like him, Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde, and yeah, I mean, that movie, I've heard this is pretty transformative, like literally, because, you know, a man into a woman for the time period in 1971 was a little transgressive, but yeah, I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see kind of how scandalous this movie is. I don't really know how much it is. Nonetheless, I'm excited for these Scream Factory films that I picked up. And what about you? Did any of you finally get your Shocktober releases late, early? I don't know. Tell me down in the comment section down below. Let's actually move on from here to Indicator, Powerhouse Films. All right, so now moving on to the Powerhouse Films Indicator lineup. I recently talked about the Columbia Noir #1 set. I really love that set. Along with that set, I actually picked up Fu Manchu Cycle right here. I also picked up a few other things during their sale about a month ago, but I want to first talk about the Fu Manchu Cycle with Christopher Lee. Now, this is beautiful, and this is something that I think is really fascinating, especially in the history of British colonial context, right, and when this was made, and whether or not it was okay. I'm excited nonetheless to dive into the films themselves and just really kind of explore these 5 films that are in the Fu Manchu cycle and really dive into it. But I love the way the Indicator just puts these things together. And there's going to be a lot of, like I said, background. These are filmed from 1965 to 1967. It even came with the poster, like Fu Manchu for Mayor, which you've probably seen before. Has some postcards here, has a poster itself of some of the Fu Manchu films, and then you have the Fu Manchu films themselves, and then an awesome booklet right here. It's a really stacked booklet talking about the Fu Manchu cycle, the time period that these came out in, and all the film essays. So without making this video very, very long, I'm not going to describe every little detail of it, but I'm really excited to dive into some of the films, all the films in this Fu Manchu cycle right here. I actually got limited edition 51 out of 6,000, so it's one of the early ones that I picked up. So did you pick up the Fu Manchu cycle? Let me know in the comment section down below. And then now we're going to move on to some shocking films, some films that are some B films that I have never seen before, and honestly I'm a little hesitant on, but I want to watch them with friends because these are definitely films that I'm not at all accustomed to. Talking about the Bloody Terror set right here, the shocking cinema of Norman J. Warren from 1976 to 1987. These are 5 films from Norman J. Warren, and I've heard these are really crazy, and I love this box set design and the limited edition that it came with. It came with the poster itself, and I love the colors of this set right here, and the posters are crazy. Satan Slave, Prey, Terror, Inseminoid, and Bloody New Year. These are going to be some crazy films. I'm going to watch them with some friends. But what about you? Did you pick up anything during this sale? I also wanted to mention that these are all Region B, I believe. Let's see, real quick. The Bloody Terror set is, this is region free right here. I got this from, Indicator, who is a Region B in the UK. Looks like the Sam Fuller is also region free, A, B, and C. And then the Fu Manchu Cycle. This is Region B, so this is only available if you have a region-free Blu-ray player. So anyway, let's move on to the big thing, the one that's in a giant pizza box, it looks like. And you already know what this one is. You've seen the thumbnail for this video. This is the one that I'm like, okay, I have to get this. I've seen 8.5. You probably know where I'm going now, and I really enjoyed that film, so I gotta dive into this filmmaker's work. I'm talking about Criterion's Essential Fellini. This set is nuts. Also, first of all, I love the design of this thing, and I'm sure you've already seen many people talk about this set, so I'm not going to dive too deep into it, but I want to open up its content and kind of showcase with you some of what it has. And it's just, it's so beautiful. It's just so colorful and pretty, and it has so many new designs to it. And yeah, Fellini is a director that I'm not terribly too familiar with. Like I said, I've seen 8.5, and I've seen a few other Italian films from this time period, but I'm excited to dive into this in 2021, really, to be honest. I love the guide for films right here. I love how it's set up. There's La Dolce Vita, another one of his classic films that he is known for specifically. But yeah, I'm really excited to read this along with the films that I'm going to be watching. And then here's some essays right here, some essential film essays. Yeah, it's just so beautiful. There's just so much love and care put into this production right here. So have any of you picked up the Fellini set? I'm excited to know your thoughts. And yeah, like I said, I'm not talking too much about it because I haven't seen it yet. I plan on doing a deep dive later on this upcoming year. But what about you? What are some things that you picked up for 2020 for November and for December? I'm excited to know. Let me know in the comment section down below. What are you most excited about for the upcoming year? Tell me down in the comment sections. So thank you so much for watching this video. I know it wasn't super in-depth, but I wanted to show with you all the things that I kind of picked up near the end of the year. So give it a like, share this video, hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. I'm not jonesing around.